How are we doing the mic check this morning? All right. Good morning, everybody. Who's got one of these? Who's got one of these? Yes. Who is committed to getting one of these this week? All right. If you are a child, if you are under 18 and you are in this building, your job this week is to ask the people that you live with that are older than 18, have you voted yet? Have you voted yet? Have you voted yet? Okay, promise? Younger people, just keep asking. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Emerson. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We all got an extra hour of sleep, and yet somehow it feels still like we're adjusting, right? It's like, what time is it? Am I where I'm supposed to be? How many people had the phone automatically changes, but like your clock in your living room doesn't, and you have that panic moment of like, oh my gosh, worship is starting. So, not me. That wasn't me. I was fine. So welcome those of you online. Well, nice to see you, or nice to be able to be worshiping with you this morning. We're so glad you can join us as well. So this month, we begin a new month here at Emerson, and as we do each month, we pick a theme and kind of play with that theme throughout the month. This month's theme is evolving wisdom. So we're going to talk about wisdom today from several different perspectives throughout the month. And I'm going to invite you throughout the month to kind of engage that topic for yourself. You know, what is wisdom to you? What does that mean to you? Where does it come from? What are your sources of wisdom in this life? Today, we get to show our wisdom as a congregation as we wisely welcome 8 new members to our congregation. Yay! So we'll have a special little ceremony a little bit later for that, and that will be very nice. And of course, you'll be wise on Tuesday, and you will vote. And I also know how stressful election time can be. Does anybody feel like there's been a little bit of stress in the air? Has anybody not felt stress in the air? Well, when I feel stressful, I like to breathe. So we picked our opening hymn this morning, all about breathing. So I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit. We're going to get started with our opening hymn. I think the words will show up on our screen, and if not, they are hymn number
1009.
1009, and that's in the teal hymnal.
So
please
guys,
rise. And this guy's going to lead us.
Yeah. Am I on? Can you hear me? So how many of you are familiar with this hymn? Thank you, James. We're going to start real easy. There's 2 parts to this. There's this underlining breathe in, breathe out. We're all going to do that together. We're going to do it a couple of times, and then Susan and Jeff are going to start singing the melody, which is when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. And we're just going to kind of build it up. But Mr. Ed and I are going to start you. Well, everyone sing the breathe part. Here we go. So it's breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe in love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe in love. When I breathe in, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in
Breathe in, breathe out.
My name is Ed Cosper, and I'm a member of the Sunday worship team. I sing in the choir, and I see I rake leaves, and I do a few other little things around and about. And I'm a member of the justice team. I extend my welcome to each of you today, and am so glad you are here. Each Sunday, we pause to light our chalice as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism and our commitment to be a beacon of love in the world. This morning, senior youth Natalie Holmes will light our chalice.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Sandra Carey. Never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, the other helps you make a life.
Thank you, Natalie. And now, in the spirit of the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day as we share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to move around and offer a greeting to others. And for those of you online, please use the chat to introduce yourself or unmute and just say hello.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Susan Ullman, and I serve as a member of our Emerson Pastoral Care Team. We're available with listening ears and caring hearts to support you during times that are challenging. Contact us in person here today if you want, or at our email address, pastoralcare@emersonuu.org. We're pausing to share the personal joys, sorrows, and concerns of our Emerson community. And each Sunday, we light our vigil bowl. Its light represents the light of hope for peaceful resolution of conflict on our planet, especially Ukraine. And it honors all dedicated people who serve us, especially police and fire and others who serve those ways. We also light a special candle for the Cherokee and Muskogee nations of people who lived on this land before we have. May it remind us of our interconnection, and may our actions help all nations of people. If you're online this morning, feel free to share your joys, sorrows, and concerns in the chat. If you're with us in person, this is the book you can write them in. It's right inside the door on the clear podium. Jeffrey Jacoby will light our candles this morning as I share these joys, sorrows, and concerns with you. I have several joys. One from Robert Croker, and it's a very brief but very powerful one. He's hanging in there, so that's his joy. And one from James Poteet. After 2 years away from it, I will return to teaching private music lessons soon down the road at Jennings Music Store. So that's wonderful. Congratulations. We also have a dear, dear sorrow from George Clear and Melanie LeMay. We are grieving the loss of our Shizu Bailey, who died Thursday, November 3. We are so grateful for the sympathy expressed by so many of you who realized Bailey was much more to us than just a dog. He was, as George says, a little dog whose heart was big as the sky. Our condolences, George and Melanie, for your loss. We know that you all are holding in your heart possibly joys, sorrows, and concerns that are too precious, too tender to share. So please take a moment and feel free to say out loud the name of somebody you hold in your heart today. Carolyn. Normally we would say the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness, but today I want to say something else. We light our chalice and our candles and share our joys and concerns as symbols of our faith, our perseverance, and our hope. In astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise for beginnings that emerge out of endings, appear amidst continuity, and become visible in hindsight. We light our chalice and share our joys, sorrows, and concerns as symbols of our faith, our perseverance, our hope. In astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise, we light our chalice in symbol of faith, in astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, hi. And my name is? I have the privilege this morning to work with Millie Fuller. Millie, you want to come up? And also Reverend Deborah. Today, Millie, who is our fellowship ministry associate, and we have the privilege of officially welcoming 9 new members to our Emerson congregation. Choosing to become a member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation is an act of love. It is a way to declare that you affirm the inherent worth and dignity of all, that you are committed to a free and responsible search for meaning as you grow spiritually, that you are committed to working for justice and creating a peaceful world, that you acknowledge the interconnectedness of all of life, and that you would like to do all the right things here with these people. We are delighted. So please allow me to introduce you to our newest members who will now sign our membership book. I'll be calling you up one by one, and when I call you up, please bring your order of service along with you, okay? And so you just can come up to this area right here. Sarah will be glad to direct you. Veronica Sanders. Veronica is a lover of art in all its incarnations, but she has the particular affinity towards theater, literature, and music. And next is Jay Harris. Jay, Marietta native with a keen interest in music, technology, and spirituality, feels that art and self-expression are key elements of growth as an individual. Kel Froberg. Kelly, okay. All right, good. Kelly has been a solo pagan practitioner for 33 years. A wife, a sister, a friend, a therapist, and a proud member of the Gen X generation. She loves to sing, bake, and participate in social justice. Brad Hopkins. He now lives in Ackworth with his husband, James. That's James Poteet. And their dogs, Mocha and Rafferty. Brad works in corporate finance. His free time, and he enjoys reading, video games, and playing Dungeons and Dragons. Christy and Pat Houseman. Christy and Pat are proud parents of 3 amazing foster children, Emily, Piper, and Jackson, and are excited to share that Emily and Piper are soon to become permanent members of the Houseman family through adoption.
Woo!
It is their shared values that brought them together, and they are excited to have found those shared values right here at the congregation at Emerson. James Elliott. James, he is an out gay profession counselor. He has been with his partner, Stephen, for almost 20 years, and he is a self-identified geek. Lindsay Tomek. Lindsay was born and raised in California, but has lived all over the United States. Through her spiritual journey, she's found that UU, a place that calls her back each and every time. I invite our new members. There we go. I invite our new members to recite the new member covenant that's in their order of service, together followed by the congregational response. So now the new members will recite in unison, we enter this faith with hope, possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in this congregation.
That was your first test as a member. You did well.
Okay. I now invite the congregation to rise in body or spirit and offer your response in unison. The words are in your order of service. We welcome you as once we were welcomed. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out to us, encourage, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals. And when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as equal members of the congregation. Okay, cheer. Woohoo! One way we seek to share loving kindness is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. Today, we have Climate Reality Change, the Atlanta chapter. We have some representatives who are available to speak with us this morning. We have Tish Nagisi and also Dr. Hayo Garcia, both with the Climate Reality Atlanta chapter. Come and we welcome you.
So, good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Karen. Thank you, everybody, for inviting us today. We are very excited. Just in the 50 minutes that I've been here, I have met the most amazing people ever, so thank you so much. We are very pleased to be here again. My name is Jairo. Say hi. Jairo. There we go. You got my name, Jairo Garcia. And then I am the co-founder of the Climate Reality Atlanta chapter. We are around 450 members in the metro area, so we welcome you all. Our focus is in issues of climate change, which is basically, and I'm not saying it, is the scientific community that is telling us is one of the biggest threats that humanity is facing, and one of the most unjust issues that humanity is facing, which is punishing the people that haven't caused the problem, right now are suffering the most. So we are dedicated to do the best we can in order to not only promote, in order to participate in everything has to be related with climate change in the metro area. And then we're gonna have a nice talk after the ceremony. So Karen, what is the name of the library? At the library. So we welcome you all to come to us. I have a PowerPoint presentation, of course, but it's gonna make it a lot of fun. So thank you so much, and Tish.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tish Nagisi, and I am the chair of the Climate Reality in Atlanta. And I just want to say that, and I work with Georgia Conservation Voters, which is also an organization that works with the environment. And we both feel that people deserve clean water, fresh air, and healthy foods. So that's our mantra, and that's the things that we want to encourage, and sustainable energy, of course. Moving away from fossil fuels and advanced energy efficiency for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hayo Garcia. Did I get it right? Okay, good deal. And Tish Nagisi. All righty, they'll be joining us in the library room right after for our second hour. We encourage each of you to support this vital work financially through our Share the Basket program and also by engaging in direct action. Please offer a donation as you are able to take, or you can take one of the cards that describes the many ways to give electronically. Ways to give are also posted in the chat. And all donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally with Emerson and our partner organization. And just one other quick note. Don't forget, the Memorial Garden is happening and we're getting donations are rolling in. So please make a donation to the Memorial Garden. It's a fantastic project going on here at Emerson. So.
Come on up.
All right, let's try this again. I have a story for all ages, so if the young and young at heart want to move up today, welcome, welcome. Come on up, come join us. Welcome, welcome. So, this story has exactly 2 characters, and their names are child and parent. So, one day, the child said to the parent, "What do you do when you have a problem?" And the parent was concerned and said, "Do you have a problem?" "Not right now," answered the child, "but sometime I might. Sometime I will. So I want to know, what do you do when you have a problem?" And parent thought about it for a minute and said, "Well, I seek wisdom." "How do you do that?" "Well, many ways. In books, in texts and tomes and scriptures and poetry and songs." And the child's eyes were starting to glaze over at this point, so parent moved on. Means there's child staring off into space and not maybe listening so much anymore. All right, so parent said, "But there are other ways to seek wisdom. Sometimes I seek wisdom by talking to my family. Brothers and sisters, parents, aunts, uncles, they've all lived through a lot of things, and so when I have a problem, I can talk to them. Or I can seek wisdom in the community, because there aren't very many problems that nobody else has had before." The child nodded and said, "But what do you do if they tell you different things?" "That's going to happen," parent agreed. But this is really the most important catch of seeking wisdom. You might have to take that information, whether it's from a book or a person, and you're going to have to weigh it. And so decide how it fits and how it feels and how it's right for you. And so sometimes I seek wisdom in nature, and I stare at the stars, and I listen to the wind, and I feel the sun, or I watch the birds. But in the end, I look for wisdom in myself, in how those answers I try on for size feel in my body. If I've got a problem, usually I've got a choice. Is there a choice that feels more peaceful? Is there a choice that makes me knot it up in my belly? And if I feel butterflies, are those butterflies excited butterflies? Or are those anxiety butterflies? Or are those a bit of both? Is this a moment where I need to be brave? Is this a moment where I'm going to think about what I could regret tomorrow? And if I sit with those feelings in myself, usually the problems sort themselves out one day. So I wish you luck with that when you have a problem. And I have a question for you. Where do you seek wisdom? Anybody have an answer today? What's your answer? Why did the egg cross the road? I don't know. Why did the egg cross the road? Because it was still with the chicken? Oh, stapled to the, of course it was stapled to the chicken.
Wisdom,
All right.
wisdom right there.
Wisdom here, anytime you need it. All right, we're going to sing our song of dedication.
Thank you, Julian. Right. I have a green light. Oh, I do. Jillian, thank you. Thank you, children, for your wisdom. I'm going to invite us into that time of our service where we take a breath. We took some good breaths at the beginning of service. Now you don't have to try to sing while you're taking your breath. So I'm going to invite you to find a place that's comfortable for you in your chair in whatever way you like. I invite you to close your eyes, or at least just have soft eyes, to let this be a moment where you kind of pull your attention in from everything outside of you. This whole month, our theme is about wisdom. As Jillian pointed out, there's so many paths to wisdom. I'm going to invite you now to take a breath into the body. Notice for yourself the sensations that you are carrying right now in your body. It might be little flutters of anticipation or nervousness, or might be feelings of tightness in the heart if you're in the middle of some intense times in your life, or in the middle of trying to make decisions. Perhaps the mind feels heavy. So without trying to change anything, I'm inviting us just to take these few moments to just notice your body. They say the body does not speak in words, but the body speaks in sensations. So let's all take this moment to listen to our bodies. Using the breath as a way to connect. Using the breath as a way to pull your attention inside. We all live two lives. The one we portray outside of us and our inner lives. And when those two are not in harmony, we often feel it first and most in our bodies. So allow this time to feel for yourself the harmony or disharmony between yourselves. As you're ready, feel free to either stay in a meditative space during our anthem or open your eyes as Bruce offers us a beautiful song this morning.
Time has made a change since my childhood days. Many of my friends have passed away. Some I'll never more in this life shall see. Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change to the old home place. Time has made a change to each smiling face. I know my friend can plainly see. Time has made a change in me. In my childhood days, I was well and strong. I could climb the hillside all day long. I'm not the same as I used to be. Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change to the old home place. Time has made a change to each smiling face. I know my friends can plainly see. Time has made a change in me. When I reach my home in that land somewhere, with all my friends, they're gonna meet me there. Free from pain and care I'll be. Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change to the old home place. Time has made a change to each smiling face. I know my friends can plainly see. Time has made a change in me. I know all my friends can plainly see. Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change in me.
Woo. Yeah. My friends, I have in my hands the book of wisdom. In this book is everything you will need to know in your lifetime about your life. It is right here in this book. Who wants a copy? Well, here's the good news. You get a copy, and you get a copy, and you get a copy. Look under your seats, everybody. Why are you not looking? Play along. Look under your seats, everybody. Wait, they're not there. Greeters, did you take the copies of the books of wisdom? Do you have them? You don't have them. Bruce,
Yeah.
you took them, didn't you?
They're in the bench.
They're in the bench. I don't think you actually have them either. Well, while I try to remember where I put them, let's talk a little bit about books and wisdom. I remember the time not that long ago when books indeed felt so auspicious, didn't they? There's something that was able to make it to print seemed so authoritative, right? Who remembers those encyclopedia salesmen that used to go door to door? Yeah? Yeah, some of us do. Well, we weren't a wealthy family when I was growing up, but I remember the day my parents pondered greatly in deciding to buy some of these books that came to the door. Now, they weren't the Encyclopedia Britannica. I think they were a cheaper knockoff version, but nonetheless, they had some power in their information that they contained. Right there in our home was all this truth about everything, right at my fingertips. I was so excited. Well, fast forward a few decades, and I'm now sure that those books from the 1960s not only contained a few scientific errors, but perhaps more importantly, failed to contain many cultural significant entries. The choice of what to include and what to leave out in a book of knowledge, whether intentional or not, creates a very specific, authoritative narrative about the world. But isn't that the way with all books? Their power is in the authority and worldview they set forth in one given moment from one given perspective. Now, while science is pretty good about evolving their hypotheses, showing their work on paper as they go along and they claim facts, and adjusting their data as required, religion, I fear, seems to have doubled down on the notion that once written, a text is infallible. Anybody run into that? I wonder where religion would be today if it were not for books and people's desire to give authority to those things written in books. After all, it was the invention of the printing press that played a significant factor in the Protestant Reformation and Christianity's spread. Here's a little story I like. It's way back in 1517. And legend has it that the priest and scholar Martin Luther nailed a piece of paper to the church door in Wittenberg, Germany. How many people know this story? Yes, quite a few of us. The paper contained his 95 revolutionary opinions condemning the excesses and corruption of the Roman Catholic Church. He especially railed against the papal practice of indulgences. That sounds actually good, but hold on. See, indulgences were the original kind of get-out-of-jail-free cards, right? At the time, the Dominican priest commissioned by Pope Leo X was in the midst of a major fundraising campaign in Germany, trying to finance the renovation of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Now, one source of these fundings was these indulgences. And once you paid money, you were given a certificate, an actual certificate that released you from having to pay for your sins. After all, you've just paid. No Hail Marys, no afterlife purgatory. You get the sun pass straight to the pearly gates. Now, some indulgences one could buy, even guaranteed that a relative who was deemed to be burning in hell in that moment would be freed and transported to heaven. Now, I'm sure those indulgences were more expensive given the transportation costs, but you could buy them. Now, frustrated and lacking both Twitter and Facebook to express himself, Martin Luther did the only thing he could do, and he wrote up his grievances, and he nailed them to the door of the church. Now, as luck would have it, the printing press had recently been invented not too far away, and someone had the brilliant idea of making copies of those grievances and handing them out. And an even more brilliant idea was that someone translated them first from Luther's original Latin, which very few people could read, to the more common German language of the region. Now, of course, copies made it to the Pope, who was none too happy about the bad press. I think it is said that he used the term fake news at one point, and well, the rest is history, as they say. And here we are today, religious descendants of that heresy and the printing press. By 1522, Luther's version of the New Testament began to be mass printed in German. And to date, the Bible is the most printed book of all time if you count its many, many versions. But the Christian Bible is not the only religious book club in town, as someone once described it. You know who you are out there. Depending on your own leanings, you may look to a variety of other religious scriptures for wisdom. There's the Quran, the Torah and Tanakh, the Vedas, Upanishads, perhaps the Tao Te Ching or the Pali Canon, are one of many, many books defined as sacred, authoritative texts from around the world, all claiming to have ultimate wisdom about how to live. It's interesting how these books, most of which were written so long ago, most of which were written by men in a very different culture from ours, how even given all that, these texts are given primacy when it comes to finding truth and wisdom for so many. It actually seems to be required for those running for political office to quote what they claim is their favorite scripture in some stump speech. And mostly that means their favorite Christian scripture. Can you imagine a candidate for president quoting the Quran? Or the Vedas? Or pulling out their copy of the Tao Te Ching for a photo shoot? I pledge to do that if I ever run. So which of these many scriptures do I have in my hand today, you may wonder? Which book is the primary scripture of Unitarian Universalism? Which is the book of wisdom we should be quoting from? Well, before I tell you, I like suspense. I want to introduce one other person to you. It's James Luther Adams. James Luther Adams was a Unitarian parish minister, social activist, scholar, prolific author, divinity school professor for more than 40 years. He was one of the most influential theologians among American Unitarians and then Unitarian Universalists of the 20th century. He lived from 1901 to 1994. Adams spoke a lot about religious liberalism and contrasted it to religious conservatism, citing what came to be known as the 5 smooth stones of religious liberalism. I'm going to share them with you in reverse order because I like to save my favorite for last. So first, liberalism holds that the resources, both divine and human, that are available to us for the achievement of change justify an attitude of optimism. In other words, don't worry, we got this. Right? 2, we have a commitment to express our faith in society. Religion isn't just about belief, it's about action. 3, we need to work together for a just and loving community. 4, all relations between people must be mutual and not coerced. And my favorite, number 5, religious liberalism depends on the principle that revelation is continuous. And herein lies for you the hint about which book I hold. Our understanding of truth, or what is wise, is ever unfolding. So there is no possibility that one book could be written which would contain all the wisdom we will ever need. And yet in my hands is the book of wisdom. So which one is it? What, Theo? It's a mirror? Ooh, I like that one. These are really good answers. Well, I'm going to submit to you that the greatest scripture of our faith is the book we each carry with us at all times. The book is not a literal book, but is the book of our lives. It is the book whose sacred words are written through our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds and thoughts, through the decisions we have made and the ones we still ponder. Our sacred wisdom is found in the relationships we build and the community that surrounds us. The Unitarian Universalist book of wisdom in each person is each person's own book of their life, a book that they write and rewrite daily. Now, cartoon images often depict wise sages sitting on top of a mountain somewhere, sparsely dressed. It's usually snowing. Their legs are folded, and they appear to be peaceful. This is to indicate that they have attained a deep wisdom and equilibrium whereby they have realized they are not their bodies, and thus the freezing mountaintop or any circumstances does not touch them as they live in eternal bliss. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of this image's ability to portray wisdom. Because I think it would be more accurate description for wisdom to depict it as a person sitting in the middle of their kitchen floor, crying with a sink full of dishes, a handful of unpaid bills, the sounds of screaming children or aging parents or an angry partner or all three. In the background, the radio reporting stories of injustice and environmental catastrophe and democratic instability. In this image, there is a person feeling in their heart, aware of the sensations in their body, searching for thoughts and ideas in the center of all that. In this picture of enlightenment, ultimate wisdom is not some blissful end state. Wisdom is the gooey center. It's the in-between. Wisdom is the pain point, the point that takes us right to that edge of our own evolution. Anybody ever be there? Is anybody ever not there? Right? We're right at that point. Ultimate wisdom is knowing that it is there in the middle of all that muck that we are most alive. Who needs a promise of a heaven someplace in the distance when we have the promise of now right there at that edge of evolution? If you ever come to me for spiritual counseling, you will quickly notice that I give you more questions than answers. In fact, if you're looking for answers from me, they will be in short supply, and I promise to not whip out some scriptural text to try to ease your pain. Instead, I will try to help you figure out how to read the scripture that you carry, trusting that as you sit in your metaphorical or literal kitchen on the floor, crying, that you have access to a deep wisdom about your life that only you know. Don't let anybody else tell you different. In this faith, we believe that wisdom comes from many sources, not just books. We recognize that our thoughts and life experience contain wisdom, that our hearts speak to us wisely through emotion, that if we listen, we can understand the language of our bodies and the wisdom that it holds. And when we come to know our intuition, we realize that it is the best guiding parable we will ever hear. To be religiously liberal means to allow all that input to inform us and change us. As James Luther would put it, we must recognize that revelation is ongoing and not be afraid to meet it. Right? This is the evolving wisdom of an evolving liberal faith. We can't read about Unitarian Universalism in a book and follow the guidelines. If we do, we've left our faith. We must read the book of Unitarian Universalism right at that edge. Unitarian Universalism is so committed to this idea of evolving wisdom that even the bylaws of the UU Association mandate that they reconsider Article 2 every 15 years. Article 2 is the part of the bylaws that actually define our principles and purposes of this faith. I don't know any other faith that does that. It says we're going to look at everything we believe and we're going to ask, is this still true for us now? Today, the 7 principles and 6 sources that define our values are up for review. I wonder if anybody's nervous about that. All that stuff we have printed with our votes. I was, not just because of all that stuff we have printed. Well, there is a task force that has completed a draft of their proposed changes, and I'm not going to get into details now, but I'll say that I do like what they've come up with. And in next week's Ministry Moment and the notebook we send out, I'll put a link to the site on the website that has the complete draft. You can just go to the UUA website right now and even look for that. It's called Article 2, and you will see the draft of that. After any changes based on feedback, the UUA board then reviews them in January, and then they'll be presented at the General Assembly, which anybody can attend, either virtually or in person in June. A vote happens. If the vote passes, then it still has to go through another year. So we have some time. But I invite you to be part of that process. I'm going to give you a peek at just the first sentence. So here's the first sentence in Article 2, Section C 2.2, which is titled Values and Covenant. And that sentence says this. It says, love is the enduring force that holds us together. That's pretty good. I think that's a good start. Today we have a new start, too, as we welcome 8 new members to our congregation. Each new person who enters here, the congregation evolves, or at least we have the chance to evolve. Case in point, 10 weeks, it was just 10 weeks ago when 10 new members joined, and they have already made such an impact on this community. We now have a dinner club for young adults that had not existed before. We had an incredible trunk or treat event coordinated by new members, thank you. And other new members are making impacts in our religious education program, in choir, in the AV booth, thank you, Josh, and in our justice work. Each person has a gift to share. And because of that, our wisdom book, our collective wisdom book, gets some new chapters. So no pressure for all you new folks, but we do invite you to add your energy to the collective wisdom and evolution of this congregation. Being part of a faith that answers your life questions with a question, one whose own answers are ever evolving, is not the simplest of paths. This path of faith asks us each to stay in the conversation, to use all of our many sources of wisdom, our bodies, our hearts, our minds, and our intuition, to evolve ourselves, to evolve this community, and to help evolve the world. This faith asks us to nail our 95 theses to the door, declaring our wisdom. And then it asks us to be willing to let even those evolve and change, to take those down and reconsider them over time. Our world is in need of evolving wisdom, my friends, now more than ever. And may we all commit ourselves to be part of that ever-expanding force. Amen. I always forget what we're singing at the end. What are we singing?
I have no idea.
Oh,
No,
does anybody have an order of service? Anybody have an
I know
iPod?
what
No,
we're
that's not. What are we singing?
311 in your gray hymnal, let it be a dance.
Oh, this is a wonderful one. Please rise in body or spirit. Let's let this life be a dance together. I am going to invite you to take up the aisles, to let your body be part of this conversation. Let it be a dance.
That was pretty cool. I got to dance my way up here. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Reverend Deborah. My name is Ann Mason, and I'm a member of the Social Justice Team. This team was organized in 2021 to consolidate and guide Emerson's social justice work. So please see our mission statement in today's tear-off in the order of service, and also sign up if you want to participate with us. And I'm going to ask the members of the social justice team who are present right now to stand up so you can see who the social justice team is. Great. Thank you. The Social Justice Leadership Team is sponsoring the Fellowship Hour today, so please join us for refreshment and conversation, and you can talk to us more about what we're up to. We have a table. You can ask questions about the ways to participate in social justice work here at Emerson, and we are also selling Emerson Acts t-shirts.
Which has the 7 principles on the back.
Yes, and they're good for at least 18 months. And they're $25. We have them on sale, and if we don't have your size, we can take orders. So today, we want to recognize 2 Emerson members who have been active in working for social justice for a long time. In 1985, Joe Tomachek began our Must Ministries breakfast program, and he has kept it going up to the present time, 37 years. When the pandemic prevented us from cooking and serving breakfast, Joe and his lovely wife, Susan, started collecting non-perishable foods for Must here at Emerson every Wednesday. And Susan has been active for justice work in other activities. She's always wanted to sign up, always wanted to come to the demonstrations. So to express our gratitude for their dedication and service, the social justice team is presenting them with our first 2 Justice t-shirts. And because they have done so much to feed others, we're giving them a certificate to go out to a restaurant of their choice and get fed by us. Thank you so much, Joe and Susan, for your leadership and your dedication. And everyone else, please do stop by our table after the service. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann, and thank you, Joe and Susan, for all the work that you have done. And I think we're just going to go ahead and close this out. Where's Natalie? Natalie, let's extinguish our chalice. Sorry to surprise you.
Yeah, you did. Just for everyone's information, Reverend Deborah just went off script.
Oh, where's the mic?
And for some reason, now I can't find my place.
We're in
Okay.
evolving. Be at the edge. Remember I was talking about being at the edge. Do you not listen to me? Be at the edge of change.
Okay, we hope you have been nourished in heart and mind by our worship today. If you would like more information about Unitarian Universalism or about participation here at Emerson, please stop by our welcome table at the front entrance. Please know that you can find more information as well with Meet the Minister in second hour. Reverend Deborah's going to be having that session. Please join us next week as Chuck, I don't know Chuck's last name.
What's drummer Chuck's last name?
What? Coliandro will be with us next week as he presents Rhythm in Consciousness. That's going to be an exciting service.
And the whole Emerson drummer, the Emerson drummers are
Yeah,
coming.
all
so
the
it's gonna be
drummers will be here, and it's going to be fabulous. As our chalice is extinguished this morning, please join Natalie in the final words. They are posted in the chat and in the order of service.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment.
These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. Just a few announcements. Join us after service today in the fellowship hall for wonderful food and refreshments provided by the Justice team. Also, you can turn in that little tear-off with how you want to participate in Justice. We'd like to see a huge stack of folks wanting to participate in the justice work of this congregation. We are active. I would also tell you, Reverend Deborah, of course, is going to do Meet the Minister, the Climate Reality Project with Karen Anderson Cordova, and the team from the Climate Reality Project are going to be in the library, room 124, and UU History with John Malick in 103. We'll have worship reflections right here in the circle with none other than
Ed Cosper.
Ed Cosper. Okay.
I think that's it.
I think that's it, but Reverend Deborah has to say something.
Go
No,
down.
stop.
Hold on.
What?
I just remind the youth that after RE today, we are meeting in 209 to sing some songs and eat some snacks and get introduced to the Christmas pageant.
Oh,
Hey.
yes. Let's go pageant.
All right. Let's all go now.
And then
peace.
one other. I'd like to ask Reverend
Ed
Deborah.
just went off script.
I'd like to ask I want to ask Reverend Deborah if she'd step right here to the middle
No, what
for
are
me,
you doing,
please.
Ed? Ed, you didn't get permission. What are we doing?
Would you please step down and right down? Folks, Reverend Deborah is going on travels to India for about a month. We're going to miss her. I'm going to miss her.
No.
And I'd like to give you an opportunity to, as you exit today, just step forward, give her a little tap on the shoulder, let that energy from you go to her. And I want you to just say 2 words to her, just 2. You know, like, we will miss you so much. 2 words, 2 words.
My husband's a math teacher. I'm going to hook you up. Thank you, everybody. I will be gone for the next 3 services. On the 4th Sunday, you will see me via video. I'll be recording a video from India and sending that in, as well as some other photographs. So thank you for supporting me in this this spiritual journey. It's a pilgrimage to some of my spiritual homeland, and also a deep meditation retreat for a couple weeks where I will be alone in a room and my own thoughts.
So now we can say, go now in peace.
Go now in peace and take peace,
Take peace
wherever you go. Thank you all. Thank you, Ed.
All
Thank
righty.
you, AV team. Thank you, Bruce.